So you said you put the kick between the first, the fundamental and the second harmonic, basically. So of the bass. Is that kind of like true for like all keys? Because let's say you have a bass in A sharp, then it's a very high key, for example. That would mean that your kick would then also go very high. And I had the experience that like the kicks which I always like the most always are more or less around like G, like 50 hertz ish, like plus minus, let's say, a semitone. So how you deal with that?
Yeah, it's a great question. That's a really good question, actually, because yeah, it's very key dependent. Yeah, with the lower frequency keys like D or like low C, up to say F or F sharp, I would definitely try to focus the low energy of the kick in between those two harmonics, because basically with the lower kicks, sorry, with the lower keys, you don't really want such a big sub. Yeah, you don't want such a big fundamental frequency basically on your bass line, and the kick is going to be actually taking that. Well, in all cases, you want the kick to be like actually giving that real low frequency without like the bass messing too much. With the higher keys, like let's say A sharp or an A, or something that is going like over 50 hertz. Yeah, like the kick usually is going, in my case, usually is going to be lower than the fundamental, So what I try to do is like that the kick and the fundamental are not exactly in the same frequency. So then the dynamic, it's a much more natural kind of thing, like the speakers are not doing the same doo, 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 doo. Then it becomes like a little bit muddy, and so I try to like these kick drums, like they're basically tuned from like the lowest ones are around 40 hertz, like, which is like the lowest that I would do a kick drum. Like lower than that, it just dissolves all the low frequency, and the higher ones are around 60 hertz. So there is a range of. That's why I say like just maybe browse around and see which one is almost like kind of fitting, and then just start tweaking if you actually need to.